Once upon a time, there was a girl who wanted to be the queen of the most powerful and wealthy empire in the world. And I know it sounds impossible, but God has a funny way of turning impossibilities into possibilities. Now, this is important because in this modern era, a lot of us are under pressure to look a certain way. We see images of so-called influencers and celebrities and wonder why we can't look like them. Or we compare ourselves to the girls at school or work and feel down about ourselves. But today, we want to remind you that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. They'd seen enough rebellions to know how they should handle this. Look, Esther, this could be your moment. Who knows? Maybe God put you in this situation for such a time as this. However, Esther replied, I don't know about this, Mordecai. One by one, the names were called until only two remained, Vashti and Esther. Then the king's voice echoed through the hall. Queen Esther, you have won? Concerned for her safety? Esther invited him to her residence, where they hatched a plan. The following day, she stood before the king, putting her own life at risk to reveal the conspiracy. Her bravery astounded the king, who promptly thwarted the plot and rewarded Mordecai with a noble title. Recognizing Esther's courage, he bestowed upon her even greater honor and love. And as the crown was placed upon her head, a hush fell over the crowd. It's about being courageous, kind, and compassionate. So remember, my friends, you don't need to wear fancy clothes or use expensive cosmetics to be beautiful. Your inner qualities, your strength, kindness, and faith, those are what truly make you beautiful. Esther, the unassuming girl from a small village, was now the most powerful woman in the known world. I mean, I'm just an ordinary girl. What makes me think I can become the queen? Despite her new status, she never forgot where she came from. You see, being beautiful wasn't just about how she looked. It was about how she carried herself, her values, and the impact she had on those around her. And Esther's true beauty shone through in her actions. But Mordecai insisted, don't forget, Esther, you're not just any girl. You're God's girl. And this could be your chance to do something truly amazing. He shared stories of Queen Esther's ancestors, strong women who faced difficult situations, and trusted God to guide them. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share it with your friends so they can learn about Goddess kind of beauty. And for those of you who are part of our regular gang, thank you for coming back. We've got more exciting episodes in this series waiting for you. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, remember, God has a plan for each and every one of you, and you are an important part of His story. Stay awesome and keep shining. He reminded her of God's faithfulness throughout history. First, they reminded the king that refusing his request was bad. News spread quickly, especially among the ladies of the empire. And next, they suggested a replacement. It was time to find another queen. Someone beautiful, someone obedient, someone who would be the perfect partner for the great King Artaxerxes. And thus, the search began again. This is part 1 of our series called Beauty, where we'll explore what God says about beauty, starting with physical beauty. Her parents had raised her in the traditions of their faith, teaching her to trust and obey God. She realized that she couldn't run from this opportunity. She needed to take action. Thinking of the plight of her people, she decided to throw herself into this adventure with faith as her guiding light. With a determined spirit, she agreed, so she prepared herself, entering the contest. As the day of the beauty pageant approached, Esther's cousin, a guy named Mordecai, warned her. There was Queen Vashti, haughty and defiant, refusing to bow to anyone, least of all, the king. And then there was Esther, radiant and poised, carrying the weight of her people's hopes on her shoulders. When her turn came, she walked with confidence, her head held high, her steps measured, her eyes shining with determination. As she glided before the judges, heads turned. Some admired her composure, others envied her grace. But above all, King Artaxerxes was intrigued. He noticed her, not just among the crowd of lovely faces, but standing out like a lone star in the night sky. And as she caught his gaze, something stirred within him. It wasn't just her beauty that captivated him, but something deeper, her spirit, her courage. And when they were done, he picked one of them, a girl named Vashti, to be his queen. Now, Queen Vashti, she threw a massive bash, inviting all the important folks in the empire. But when the king wanted to show off his new toy, a golden scepter, and asked the queen to hand it to him, she refused. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a simple act of disobedience. It was a blatant rejection of the king's authority. To refuse the king's request was like telling him, "No, I won't do what you say," and that was unacceptable. In fact, it was punishable by death, and not just any death, mind you, but a public execution meant to send a message to everyone. Hey, if you're gonna enter the contest, don't reveal your Jewish heritage. Back in the day, things didn't end well for the Jews when the king got ideas. Esther listened, worried about the risk, but also aware that this might be her chance to make a real difference. Now, the king of this vast empire was a man named Art, and I know his name isn't familiar to you, but he ruled over many nations, including those you've heard of, like Egypt, Israel, Greece, even Rome. You know, the big leagues. And this king was having a bit of an identity crisis. See, his counselors had told him that being a lonely guy wasn't healthy for a king, so they suggested he find a new queen. And not just any queen, mind you, the most beautiful girl in his entire empire. The story begins in the book of Esther. Esther was an ordinary young Jewish girl living in the extraordinary city of Shushan, the capital of the Persian Empire. Now, the search began with every eligible woman being summoned to Shushan. Now, on the night of the competition, all these women paraded before the king, decked out in their finest clothes, makeup, jewelry, the works. When King Artaxerxes was hot with anger, his 6 royal advisors stepped in. Meanwhile, back at Esther's place, her cousin, Mordecai, urged her to enter the competition, and slowly, Esther's heart started to change. As the grand day arrived, all the eligible women gathered in the royal court. Later that night, as the results were announced, the atmosphere crackled with anticipation. But this story isn't just about a beauty contest. It's about Esther's bravery, her faith, and her service to God. One day, while strolling through the palace gardens, she encountered a distraught man named Mordecai, who informed her of a plot to assassinate the king. In the end, Esther's story teaches us that true beauty comes from within. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. We'd love to have you join our family.